When did you guys get back? Early this morning? Yeah? I know there weren't any flights going last night, so when that game ended. Yeah, there you go.
We don't get back about 5.
I think we landed about 5:15, yeah. Yeah, got to the house about 6. So.
What time did you get here?
I was here 11:45, so.
Slacking.
Yeah, slacking, yeah. Yeah, great to film and move on, yeah.
Right, David Moore at Dallas Morning News. Look back at the game last night with the delay, having to shuffle guys in the offensive line, Brandon not being there. I know you missed on some opportunities, and Dak talked about some of his interceptions and the fumble, but where would you rate your overall efficiency with all of those changes and that were in play last night, and are you showing progress offensively, do you feel?
Yeah, I think the first thing that's cool is during the delay how relaxed our guys were. Like literally our guys were really relaxed. It was actually very businesslike. Most of them were kind of just on their phones, listening to music, doing different things, but it was really relaxed, which is good to see because it kept dragging on. They'd move it back 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so that was cool to see. I think overall, obviously it's a really good defense that we played. I thought for the most part it was probably our best complimentary day where, again, the turnovers were need to be cleaned up, but just our ability, I thought the way we ran the ball in the second half was outstanding. Rico ran really hard, but I thought the line in general, man, they just – they strained, they finished, they covered down. We talk about bend backs all the time where they're covering down and moving the pile for an extra yard or two. Those things all come into play. And, receivers, tight ends, digging guys out. I thought that was really good. And anytime you can go up against a defense like that in that environment, which it was kind of cool to talk to the guys after some of the guys that hadn't been there, how much they enjoyed the environment. Just, primetime game in Pittsburgh. Renegade comes on in the fourth quarter, and that gets everybody going. But my point is to take those 2 long drives, 15 and 16 plays, 2 of our 3 drives in the fourth quarter, and go and score 2 touchdowns shows you that we're finding our stride a little bit, and it's a testament to the players, their execution, their poise, and it's just a hell of a win for us. It really was.
Brian, Todd Archer with ESPN. Are you guys in a spot where you're using the pass to kind of set up the run? You were 2-1 in the first half, then it was basically 50-50 in the second half. Is that just the way that game went, or is that kind of how you can get people to back off to open up things in your running game?
It's a game plan thing. Todd, when you look at it, it's like, okay, hey, how do these guys want to play? What's their coverage shell? Are they 2 high? Are they 1 high? Are they loading up to stop the run? And we obviously adjust during the course of the game as well. But, again, it's something you talk about on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The conditions come into effect a little bit. Sometimes people think when it's wet and, slick that you want to just run the ball. Well, we feel like we kind of have the advantage when it's wet because we know where we're going. Talking about running routes, right? The DBs don't. They can slip and things like that. So it's a game plan thing. But, again, what was cool for us yesterday is when we had to run the ball in the second half, I thought we were able to do that. And that's a sign that, again, there's progress. We're feeling better about the combinations, the running game. And, again, kudos to Rico. He ran really, really hard. And just some big plays throughout.
He talked about slowing down.
Yeah.
That seems to be the opposite of what you would actually think a running back would do, right? I mean, can you kind of talk about how slowing down helps everything out?
Yeah, I would say Rico has always run hot. What do I mean by that? Like he sees where he wants to go and he wants to get there in a hurry. The problem with that is when you're trying to tie in the 7 or 8 other guys involved in the blocking scheme, they've got targets and aiming points, meaning I'm trying to strike the guy on the outside armpit or the outside shoulder, the outside number, and when you get there too fast, the blocks don't set up. Defenders can fall back. So if I'm supposed to be, stepping all the way to you and trying to get to your toes, and right when I get off the podium, I go back left, it doesn't allow our combinations to happen. So I would agree with you. It was one of his most disciplined, patient games, and that's something he's been working on because he's got really good instincts, but sometimes when you get sped up and you go too fast, you miss cuts and you miss reads.
Sadius, The Athletic. Brian, that entire last sequence after the 3rd and goal, Jalen struggling to stay in the huddle. You guys call a timeout. He's on the sideline. Then Pittsburgh calls timeout. He comes back in. Just what was the play? How confident were you in the play that you guys were going to run before Pittsburgh's timeout, and how much did Jalen being able to come back in change what you guys wanted to do?
Yeah, again, like everybody's got a philosophy when you get in that situation. They used the timeout. They wanted to see what formation we were in. we practice these situations all the time. I would say we've probably got a ready list of 4 to 6 favorites, maybe, give or take a few. We saw something from what they were doing. I won't tell you what it was. And we felt really good about one of those other plays. And so discussing it, Mike went with it, and again, it worked out. It wasn't exactly how we drew it up on paper, but again, just a ton of credit to the protection unit. I thought Cam Hayward played unbelievable last night. Obviously, T.J. Watt, special player. But again, for JT to come across and get there, I don't think enough people understand how difficult that catch was that he made. Dak made a great throw, but literally, to be able to hold that ball extended away from his body with a really good safety, Elliott, coming there and hammering down his hands, for him to finish that catch is a big-time play in that situation. So a lot of communication, but again, overall, I thought that we talked it out. We went with one of our kind of gotta-have-its or our favorites, and the players felt very comfortable with it and executed.
What did you see just from the diversity of production for Jalen? He had a 48-yard catch. He had a close contested catch. Just seemed like he was kind of doing everything and led the team and catches, targets, all that.
Yeah, he had a great night. Really did some really good things. Again, we see it every day. And again, we always talk about next man up, and it's kind of like sometimes tongue-in-cheek, but it really is the next man up. And Jalen Brooks made a great catch. He only got the one catch, I think, but he gets blasted by the safety and holds on to it on a second down catch. And we see it every day from these guys. We see their confidence growing, but most importantly, it's not just their confidence, it's the confidence that Dak has in them.
Yeah, Joe Hoyt, All City Dallas, following up on Jalen Tolbert. We've talked many times about his note-taking and his preparation. Yeah. I guess in a game like that, when Brandon Cooks is out and he needs to step up, how do you see those things that, the note-taking and stuff translate to the game?
It's all part of his preparation. It's all part of his confidence. JT's been waiting for his opportunities. That's why it's good to play young players, like, going back a year or two, right? When you mix them in and they play 10, 15, 18 plays, like, you think that's not a big deal, but in reality it is a big deal because they're comfortable when they go in these bigger moments, and that was a big stage in a cool environment. And all those things that he's done, the consistency of the notes and the preparation and the way he works, he'll be one of the last guys out there in practice every day. If we miss a throw to him, he and Dak aren't on the same page about something, he stays after. He's always one of the last ones, on the practice field. And they've probably repped that throw 1,500 times. The one at the end zone. Now, it doesn't always hit in the exact spot you think it's going to hit, but, again, it was cool to see him reward not just himself but the team with a huge play in a big moment, because it shows the young players, hey, this is a guy that's worked his way up through hard work and busting his ass to do all the things the way you're supposed to do it.
And following up on the Rico's kind of slowing down idea, I know that offensive linemen have timing and synchronicity on how they do combo blocks, how they get to the second level. I guess when you're trying to get Rico to slow down and understand that, do you literally just say, hey, here's the offensive line, here's the exact timing? How do you kind of get him to pair with
That's a great question. You point it out, so you show the video, you show the blocking schemes, you show how the linebackers play, but you literally talk about slow to go. So like when you're a running back, and different than a receiver comes off the ball, right? Normally he's going as fast as he can going vertically. When you're a runner, there's a tempo to it. We call it kind of slow to go, or slow to the hole, fast through the hole. So you're slow to the hole, but then as it develops, you got to accelerate and speed up, and just things like that. He and Coach Blasco spend a ton of time doing run courses and run tracks, and again, it's a little bit of a synchronized swimming thing, because it's not just this guy go and run. Of course, there's plays that happen like that, but the lineman will be the first to tell you when you miss a cut, because they're wondering why the guy they're supposed to be blocking is not over there, they're back over there. They're the first ones to be like, hey, yo, why'd you go back so fast? So it's cool to see the communication between our players.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. With Rico seeming to emerge here a little bit, you've got a couple of older backs with big-time pedigrees, and one of them, the opportunities are slipping a little bit. The other one hadn't even gotten on the field yet. How do you all, as a coaching staff, maybe you in particular, kind of manage that? How do you communicate that to sort of let those older guys know that they matter and those sorts of things as this develops.
Yeah, I think both, Zeke and Dalvin are very confident players. They're confident in their opportunities. They want opportunities, of course. All the great ones do. There's a ton of communication just about our plan, and does the plan always work out exactly how you go into a game? No. I think yesterday was an example of the run carries kind of came out the way they came out. Rico was kind of the hot hand. We didn't have as many rushing attempts in the first half, but there's constant communication between myself and the players, the coaches, the players. And again, this is a long season, and we're not getting caught up in, we've said from day one, we're a committee, and the numbers on the stat sheet for any single game might not always marry that, but that's the goal and the objective, because it's such a long season, it's such a violent position that they play, that it's easy with guys. Again, just they want to be told, they want to understand, hey, what's my role? What's my role? Hey, we need all you guys, and this is the plan. And again, they help themselves by, when they get their opportunities, doing a great job. And I said it last week, I'll say it again. Zeke's been practicing great. I mean, he's been doing an awesome job in practice. It's going to come. Dalvin, we've been upping his reps. It's going to come. Is it this week? I don't know. Is it after the bye? Don't know. But it's great to have those two guys in the room for the young backs as well.
You mentioned Zeke. What's your take on being around Zeke and him in a different situation than he was the last time he was here?
Yeah, awesome teammate, man. I love his energy. I'm a high energy guy. He's a high energy guy. He plays the game the right way. He loves it. He plays it a little bit like we're back in Pop Warner. That's a compliment. I like that, right? It's not too rigid. It's not too tense. And he brings great energy to practice. So, and his football instincts are off the charts. That's probably the one thing that I didn't really know, not being around him as much as the other guys, is how football just kind of makes sense to him. He understands the game. He understands protections. He understands coverages. And that's cool to see.
Garrett Perrell, CBS Sports. Brian, what stood out to you about Tyler Smith's play when he had to scoot over to left tackle?
Yeah, what a freak athlete, man. You have to plan for all the contingencies, right? So he's been taking reps, I'd say, half a dozen to a dozen every week in practice, going back to training camp. You never want to anticipate, but you have to. And so you roll guys around at center spot, guard spot, all those different things. But it just speaks to his athleticism, his talent. He just, again, his overall play style is just different. I mean, he is a violent, athletic, tenacious football player. And the other thing you love about him is when he does get beat, he lets it go. It's like you make a bad play at any position, you got to move on to the next play, right? We talk about it all the time. Play one play at a time, and he can do that. And again, he's quite a luxury to have, that you can just kind of do that and move him out there and have him go perform the way he did.
How comfortable would you be if he has to be out there for however many weeks?
Yeah, we're comfortable with all our guys. I mean, again, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about TJ and Brock going in there and them having to play. And again, it's a tough challenge. You're playing left guard, and all of a sudden it's Cam Hayward, who's a terrific player. And we're comfortable in all our guys. And there's no question that based off our unit, whoever's got to play, they'll be ready. They'll play hard. They'll play the right way. And therefore, we feel very good that we'll go out and have success.
Dave Laufenberg, 105.3 The Fan. Obviously, you have a game plan, and then you're ready for contingency stuff. And so the very first play, T.J. Watt's running under the little stop route by CD, then he's stacked, and in your mind, you're going, okay, where is this all going to go?
Well, we actually were pretty thankful. We're glad they dropped him off in coverage. We're like, thank you very much for doing that. We appreciate that. Probably not going to do that a whole lot. The very next play, they kind of moved him. We called a spinner. They moved him inside off the ball, and the young center, BB, did a great job tracking him and things like that. But what a great player. I was laughing with Mike earlier today just talking about if this guy played on turf, just because his get-off is unbelievable, and it was a little bit of a slick track yesterday. But his counter moves and things like that are just elite. And I think the guy probably gets chipped more than anybody in the league. I mean, you have to put people in front of him because his get-off's elite, and he's also got counter moves off of it. So when people overset him, he's got the ability to spin inside or dip and rip and get up underneath it. And terrific player.
We always used to say we don't like any defensive call that has DeMarcus Hoyer backpedaling.
Yeah, and they did it once, maybe twice. Yeah, but again, he's a great player, and he almost got up underneath the throw to CD. So that speaks to his athleticism.
Coach Kyle Young's DallasCowboys.com. There's been an added emphasis to get Cavante Turpin the ball and utilize him as a weapon. How much has your confidence evolved in him throughout your time here and kind of you two growing together?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, Turp, when we first got here, was kind of a gadget guy. You know, they had to get him the ball in space. And, again, him working with, you know, RP, Coach Prince, on the fundamentals of receiver and playing receiver has been really cool for us to see. You know, if you watch him in individual drills, there's been a growth from his ability to win at the top of the route. He actually plays physical for a smaller guy. And his stride length is different. Like, he's fast, but, like, his stride length, he chews grass. So, like, some guys are short striders. Like Kyler Murray's a short strider, right? He's really fast, but he takes a little baby. If you watch Cavante's steps, like, they would rival probably, you know, maybe not Jalen Brooks, Jalen Brooks. I mean, he opens up his stride. And, again, they felt really good about the leverage. They're trying to play two-man, and he just got behind the guy because of his speed. But he truly is a receiver now. He really is, and it's been cool to see. We can move him around, put him in different spots. We couldn't do that when we first got here, and that's a testament to him and him evolving as a receiver. And again, let's be honest, he doesn't get a lot of kick return opportunities. They don't want to kick it to him, so we got to get him involved as a receiver.
Aaron Cousins, Lone Star Live. Were you at the McCarthy's house with the quarterbacks?
I was not. I've been there before, and but they said it was they had a great time.
Like you going back to maybe even your dad, like what have you noticed about that coach-quarterback relationship? Why is that something that always has a magnifying glass on?
It's too important. I mean, this is a relationship business first and foremost. People talk about the X's, the O's, and people talk about, you know, coaches and talent acquisition and stuff. But like, there's first of all a trust and a belief and a commitment and relationships. Like it truly is, you know. Do you understand what truly motivates one another? And that's coach to player, player to coach. I think the quarterback to coach thing is important just because the guy handles the ball every play. But, you know, we try and believe that, you know, we've built an unbelievable culture. I hope most of our players would say that they feel like they trust us and they believe in us and that we have their best interests and that we care about them outside of football. Because we do. But I do think that quarterback to coach position is important just because of when you win, they get a lot of, you know, the glory. And when you lose, the blame's going to start with the head coach and the quarterback. And so I think that you can lean on each other a lot, knowing that not everybody understands what they go through on a Monday or a Tuesday after a tough loss. And so I think that's why that relationship is so cool.
We're going to get you in your meeting.
Yep. Thanks, guys.